Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We currently are on, I believe, episode 42, and in the last episode, we saw a major war break down over here in South Africa, which, of course, was between the military alliances of the Diamonds and the Crosses. And this is not going good for them. This could, well, be very bad for the world, of course. And, well, we're just gonna see that in action right now. Some other things we saw, I believe, were Sri Lanka expanding, maybe. I don't fully remember. We had some things happen over here, right here, where we saw these islands, the sea levels decreased, and these islands were formed. Well, they were expanded upon. These islands became independent from the Scottish. Some wars happened over here, and also the elephant in the room, China, is gone. But we're gonna take a look at our main candidate over here. Uh, this whole war, which is just all of southern and central Africa, all up against each other. We have the blue Madagascarians. We have the the northern Botswanans, the Angolans, the blue Somalians, and the Kenyans. We also have the gold team. We have Gabon, and we have the Nigerians, and then also Guinea. All of these countries against, South Africans, the Botswanans, the Northern Madagascarans, the Namibians, the Tanzanians, the Congolese, the other Congolese, the Ghanans, these guys over here, and then these three. Yeah, this is a really big war, so let's go ahead and get this war started. So this war did start over here in the Congo area, and well, like I said in the last video, the nations of the Diamond Alliance were prepared for this such event. They knew that it was eventually going to happen, and they prepared for it while the Cross Alliance did not. So the Diamond Alliance is going to easily be able to make a pretty large push into the Purple Con and start aiming towards the capital very quickly. They actually don't do this well over here in the north, as they are pushed back from all of this land right here. But staying in the central area, they're still doing very well, as they even make more advances to stabilize their front line and make sure that it doesn't become too small. And well, they also try to get a lot of this coast down here. It doesn't go well though, because of the fact that the Congolese are still a relatively strong country. If you remember, this area was a heavily disputed area, and that led to the whole decolonization of Africa. No, it led to World War II and the decolonization of Africa after that. Pretty cool lore there. This front line over here is gonna be dead, as Kenya is gonna make a lot of pushes into the purple Ethiopians right here, and it goes pretty well for them. Although they haven't really captured anything too major, they have captured a couple towns and villages, but no major cities yet. And this front line is mostly just a distraction from this big front line, which is really big. I can't stress the importance of this. And also, I just kind of realized this outline right here kind of looks like the outline of Africa. I did not make sure that would happen. That was just a cool little. While coming over here, the pink team is actually going to do very well in these northern regions, as there's a lot of citizens from this northern region right here who are helping out the pink team, as they feel they should have been a part of the pink team after the gold team decolonized. It's a very large rabbit hole of weirdness, and the pink team is actually able to capture a lot of major cities and even connect up with the coast very quickly on in the war. However, the blue team manages to push them back over here and makes it look like an encirclement is forming a lot more. And well, these troops eventually do fall back, but they still remain up here in the north, which is really good, especially for that pink country that really isn't too strong. Over here, the gold team is going to start their invasion of the orange team, as the gold team was focused on this area specifically, as this will probably be closed up by the Nigerians. Although I just realized Ghana does have a lot of major cities. Over here in Madagascar, we can see that, well, this is just ending, and the blue Madagascarians are just losing their foothold in this South African area right here. The South Africans did very well in that region. But the blue team, they don't care. They're gonna move all of their troops. No, not all of that. they move all of their troops into this territory, and they say they quote unquote fully annex it, which is a very interesting move. And the Madagascarians are then gonna get pushed back right here as this major city is recaptured. They then make a small push out from this region, not taking too much land, as it would be hard to kind of manage all of that, and I wouldn't want to do that either. So, they're not gonna do that. Instead, they're gonna focus on these guys. Or not focus. They're gonna make sure the northern Botswanans slash the no, kind of just the Botswanans. This map is very weird because Botswana would be like over here, and then Angola. So this would be like almost Zimbabwe. It's a very interesting map. I'm not sure, like northern Botswana, and this would be Zambia, and this would be kind of northern Zimbabwe, and then here's the new Mozambique because the old ones were destroyed thanks to the good old blue Madagascans. The brown team over here, though, they're not messing around, and they just start rapidly pushing in to this Cyan nation. And same with the purple team, they also start pushing in, and not looking well for the Cyan team in the upcoming days, as a lot of this land around them is being destroyed and taken upon. Although the Angolan or the Namibians should probably be worried about worse, as we can see the Angolans pushing through this whole borderline right here into Namibia and taking a lot of land as they start taking most of the coastline, which is very detrimental over to the Namibians, and they start to reach the capital of the Namibians. However, they will push back over here in this region as they take all of this, and that is honestly pretty good, but they just don't take back all of their land because it would be very difficult to do that. And yeah, however, to stabilize their front line, they are going to push back more and they take this major city, which is good for them as they would be able to do more in the future. The Ghanans are going to push into the Nigerians a little bit as they take this major city. And, well, they're mainly doing this right now because they realize that these guys are gonna well, they get immediately destroyed by the Nigerians. Although now the Republic of the Congo is pushing into Equatorial Guinea, or just Gabon is pushing into Equatorial Guinea, as they take a lot of land, and Equatorial Guinea was surprisingly very, very unguarded, and immediately pretty much just falls over to the Gabonese, and well, that was very quick. The Ghanans are also going to push into Guinea right here with not much resistance due to the fact that they aren't really too focused over there. The Blue Madagascans are gonna push into this area, but with heavy resistance of the people of their own country. Because if you think about it, they are like not very stable. Look at the religions. They're currently trying to genocide a bunch of their religion, and it is working well. However, it's not as well as as you can see. There is like random pockets still remaining of land, and well, they won't be able to sabotage at all. There's also a lot of things over here that they weren't able to genocide as fast as they probably should or could. Not definitely not should, because that just sounds. And the Diamond Alliance is seeming to be a little bit more kind of cocky than they probably should be, as the Burundians slash Burundians take the capital of the Purple Country and start moving around the area, and they even manage to go down to this Angolan team to meet up with it, and they just take all of that southern land right there. Now, these guys, who still have four major cities left, are going to push into this territory until they meet up with the claim, and, well, you can already see what's about to happen. They're gonna try to go within this claim, and they try to cut them off quickly. However, they aren't able to do it just now. It seems like they'll be able to do it eventually. However, it's just very hard to do that because there's just a lot of troops all over here in this region. Coming over here, the purple team is pushing back the green team in the southern region. However, in the northern region, the purple team is lacking enough resources, and they take the capital of the purple country and very quickly, and they just start rolling through this guy, especially in the north, and eventually even in the south, their front line falls, which manages a huge front line and a huge win for the Green Kenyans in this region and the Diamond Alliance as a whole. But speaking of the Diamond Alliance, something is not going to go good for them, as the pink team manages to create a huge front line that sweeps through this area, and they're able to do this because of a specific reason, and that's because these guys are a monarchy, the Yemenis, but they are a very democratic nation. They're a little bit unstable, especially over here in these northern regions. We'll talk about that probably in the next episode. The Yemenis have been supplying the Frost Alliance like crazy. So has a lot of the uh, remaining democratic nations in the world, especially in the Americas. And this has actually helped them a lot. So much that they're able to completely capitulate the Northern Botswanan team. And they've been able to push out the blue Madagascans from South Africa. And they've managed to complete a great big front line, which is beneficial towards the South Africans. That looks something like this. The Angolans are also going to get pushed back as the oh my god, the purple team is going to retreat all of their troops from there, and they're going to use them to fight back against the Angolans, which are able to do a little bit good. But it's mainly going to be coming over here from the north, as the blue country is doing a lot of the heavy carrying in this war, as they're just taking a lot of land. The Angolans weren't really focused on this front line; they were focused on the southern front line, and it seems that that's not going too well for them, obviously. We can see the Tanzanians, they're going to invade Rwanda, and this was all according to the Congo's plan as well. That happens, and that is just terrible. That is horrible. Absolutely terrible for these guys as well. They also get cut off from Angola, so they can't flee into Angola. And now they're completely trapped. They can't go anywhere, and they're just relying on the capital's resources, and they're slowly getting squeezed out until they're in a bubble that looks something like this, just focused around the capital of the Purple Nation. And well, Rwanda is about to fall. They've made a great living. They have done a lot, and I really like this country. However, now there will just be falling, as their country is fully capitulated, and now we don't have to worry about all of that. And this, of course, is just gonna go back over to the you know, the big guys known as these guys. That makes sense. These guys up here, they're gonna surrender because they know in the long run they're not gonna win. Probably a good choice. I would do that too. If I knew I was gonna win, I would do that too. Just saying. Also, what is happening with my paint on net? I am lagging out. Holy lag. What is going on? Yeah, I would do that. And, well, this country is also going to meet the same fate as they also surrender wrong color. They also just go ahead and surrender over to the purple team, who they had a really good advantage on, but I guess they just didn't care about that advantage, which was stupid. I don't know why they did that. Probably because they were stupid. Common theme, I guess, in the series. People be stupid. Speaking of people being stupid, I forgot to release the video on Monday, so yeah, that the video you saw yesterday was supposed to be on Monday. I just forgot. By the time it was already 2. I was in school, so I couldn't release it off my computer. And yeah, so I had to release it yesterday. Um, I don't like being off time, so yeah, that's why you didn't see a video on Monday. The purple Madagascans are just gonna completely just take all of this land back. And, well, yeah, you already saw it coming. They just start to get invaded, and it's actually going really rapidly as they are getting invaded from a lot of this land. And once they realize their empire is falling, they can't do anything about it, as the whole blue Madagascan area over here is taken. And this also, which is ends the reign of the Madagascar country. And now it's time for Nigeria. Nigerians, they have, well, no, they're not quitting. They are, well, they're at a disadvantage here. They're getting cornered from both sides, that being from down south and from over here in the west. But they're not giving up. Even though they're getting invaded rapidly by the Ghanans for some reason, they're not giving up. And yeah, it's a very interesting move. Not sure why, but they're not giving up. And these guys though, they give up immediately. They know that the Diamond Alliance isn't gonna win. These guys also eventually come to that same fate, that same realization, and they also go ahead and surrender. And yeah, this is just not going well for the Diamond Alliance, as they're just falling. yeah, that didn't last long. Also, these troops over here in the capital, they're fully captured, and Purple Team's capital is liberated. Eventually, Angola comes to the same fate, and well, now the only country left is the good old Nigerians. And is this gonna be easy? Not by any means. They are getting invaded by both sides. Eventually it will probably be horrible for them and they will fall. And well, after a little bit, they officially do. And I think now is a good time to look at the peace treaty of the War of Africa, or the War for Africa. So first thing we're gonna see in the peace treaty of Madagascar is the South Africans take all of that, and now let's get on to the real stuff. Okay, so this is what it is. So basically, let's just start over here in Madagascar. Let's be honest, the purple Madagascans are gonna take the rest of this, and yeah, that was pretty easy. Now Madagascar will probably fade into obscureness. Then we can see a new red team country form right here, and we can also see South Africa taking all of this land, which used to be a former country actually. A new yellow team country exists right here, and that is a very small team. And then we see the return of our good old pal, the former orange country over here. And for cities, it's let's be honest, it's gonna be self-explanatory. So we can go ahead and see that city, capital right here, and capital right here. So these are our new countries of Africa. And let's go on to some more interesting stuff, like Botswana. Oh, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, there goes those guys. Those guys were never really important anyway. And then, so for Angola, this will be the first piece of land taken. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Oh, because it's one piece of land. It will be the first piece of land taken. It's not too much because the Namibians kind of got overran in the first stages of the war. So we can see that Gabon or Equatorial Guinea is fully taken by the blue team, as well as this part of Angola. Now, I've debated to do with what to do with the rest of Angola, and honestly, I have no clue. I guess you can go ahead and release. No, can go ahead and release a new green country right here. And, yeah, no, what? No, yeah, a new green country right here. If Paint.net's gonna let me do it. Oh, it finally did. Okay, and of course, capital. We already know where the capital is gonna be. Right there. And yeah, so new country on the map. Yay. So Ghana is gonna take all of that from Nigeria, and then the green team is gonna take all of this from Nigeria, and the rest of this, and this is gonna go ahead and become a puppet state of the Ghanans. So, yeah, they're a puppet state now. Yay! And, that probably is deserved because the Ghanans did a lot in this war. The Guinea people, they stay. This wanted country is fully annexed by the purple team, so, yeah. This blue team is fully gonna get annexed by this pink team. And for this, it's actually gonna go ahead and it's gonna be annexed by the purple team, but I'm just gonna keep this color because this just looks like a better color than purple. You know, purple is next to another purple and then, you know, a pink. So, yeah. And the gold team just have an ideology. So let's go ahead and update the ideology list. So here's the updated, this, the updated military layer. And here is the updated ideology. Now, yeah, so this is gonna be the last event of the video, but we can see that this is starting to also dry up. But before we see that, we see islands get independence. So this island right here, they get independence from the yellow team, and then this one also does, but this is just a bluish color. And for cities, obviously, the capital of these countries is obviously gonna be right here and right here. But anyways, off of cities, we're gonna go ahead and see more these sea levels decreasing even more around this island, and more land is starting to be formed. Well, I guess reformed. Wow. Wow. So yeah, this continent is growing rapidly. Whoops, what? Just kind of spoiled the beans on what this was gonna be. I could do provinces for this. It's gonna be very simple. And that is gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.